I got a hold of.
Great. All of you need to appreciate that you are all so powerful in potential opportunities, but you inadvertently give away your rights. And here I am going right to the quick terms and conditions that most people skip. They quickly check off the little checkbox that says, I accept these terms and conditions for free, but they don't realize, and I'm just going to jump to the first thing that sits here, where it says, as a condition of you, the contractor, submitting materials to their site, you agree to grant Angie a royalty-free, perpetual, meaning indefinitely, irrevocable, worldwide, non-exclusive, transferable, and sublicensable license to use, reproduce, copy, adapt, modify, merge, distribute, publicly display, and even more importantly, create derivative works from your work. Now, most of you probably got dizzy by me just saying that for 15 seconds, but the point is the content that you own, which is everything about your business, is so powerful. It's that most of you don't realize its importance. So you're willing to give it away to companies that understand how to manipulate it to their advantage. Because number two, after me saying number one about all of the things you're willing to give up on people using your reviews, your images, your stories, you also grant them the right to refrain from publishing your name and address in connection with your content. Right there, you have to realize that you're a storyteller because you have stories about clients before you show up, stories about what you do while you're there, and stories about their satisfaction. And you're willing to give it all to a lead gen company who may or may not use your name to publish it for lead generation efforts. So that is in my opinion, one of the biggest detriments of why, and not just Angie, I'm just using this as a reference point since most of you probably know the name, but there's many lead generation companies out there, and you have to realize that they hire reporters for free, and you're those reporters.
Right. Before you go on, read number 6. I caught that. I mean, we could read them all, but we're not going to take all that much time. But number 6, look at that. I love that one. And if a minor, the parent or guardian of the minor, all the way down to that level of detail, they own you when you go over to a lead generation source, because they all have kind of the same thing. So
yeah, and thank you for Rob jumping that far ahead that it caught your attention, because I'm already stuck on number 1 and 2. And a lot of people, you're innocent when you're joining the group, but what you're not innocent about is being aware that the content of your marketing, whether it's a review, images, whatever the stories may be, videos, it takes time for that content to make an impact in your marketing. And when you're giving away the rights to other people to leverage it over time, and as time passes and you decide to no longer use a platform, not pay for whatever the service of the opportunity is of the day, that content is going to live on and help somebody else grow their business, as well as help somebody else generate leads, which may not be you. It may be your competitor. So please, when you sign up to not just Angie, any other lead generation service, glance at the terms and conditions, because many of them are very counterproductive to your long-term marketing objectives. Here, when I'm just going to another step forward, how important is your content? Well, right there, again, I'm taking this from Angie's online profile for a breach of contract, that if you take any review that is on the landing pages of Angie's and put it on your website, because you're bragging about some customer that was happy about you, but they didn't give you the review directly. You didn't put it on your website as a video, but you took it as a copy from the Angie's List website. They treat that as a violation of the terms, and they are looking to charge you $10,000 per report. Now, I think everybody here would be like, you got to be kidding. 10,000? They probably are not looking to get the 10,000, but what they're looking to do is use it as leverage, which we've heard people, I can't use the company names because they get a little bit intimidated by this stuff, but they wake up and get a letter and say that they breached the contract, put a couple of their best reviews on their own website, and owed Angie's $30,000 for 3 reviews. And of course, they negotiated a settlement, but name a contractor who'd even thought that they didn't have to pay more than a penny to have a review put on their own website. And again, even if all of this is legal, it still puts a lot of warning flags into, in my opinion, into how you can consider the importance of getting a review and getting it directly to your site rather than to somebody else's site who's looking to hold you hostage on people who are happy with you. The same goes here. Now, let's go right back to the page when I was mentioning over 1.5 million opportunities last month. Their own terms and conditions say, we don't make any guarantees, representations, or warranties regarding the source, accuracy, validity, or quality of these leads. So right there, and this is number 2. So I don't want to get into number 1 because it's only the second one down. But if here we're promoting 1.5 million opportunities, why would the second thing be, okay, we just don't want to tell you whether they're good opportunities or not? And what my point is that lead gen does work in certain circumstances for contractors. Many of those contractors are weak at their own marketing, and many of them are short-sighted, that they're not thinking about the 1 to 5 year plan. And I know sometimes 1 year out sounds intimidating, but the reality is that what you do in this quarter is going to, in your marketing efforts, impact you 1, 2, or 3 quarters out. So what you need to do when you're thinking about lead gen is really take the approach of 1, how short of a term am I thinking in general? 2, am I willing to roll the dice with the majority being tire kickers and spending the time and money to weed out who the quality opportunities are, or take a step back and focus in on your own independent marketing efforts that are separate from all lead generation services. So when the phone rings and someone says, hey, I heard about you for whatever those services are, maybe they were doing a Google search, maybe they found you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all of these, or your website, that all of these methods that have full control by you. And whether there is no terms and conditions, it's everything is your responsibility to bring the opportunity directly to you and not through a third party, which is what My Online Toolbox is a proponent of. A few weeks ago, we had a presentation introducing a startup company that grew from no marketing at all because they moved from one state to another, and then were able to generate enough activity that the business was on a roll, and they grew big enough to be able to need a company like Contractor Foreman. That client, I'm just bringing it up because it's very relevant here. When they moved to town, the name of the client is called massbuilders.com. This happens to be a joint client of the issues are relevant to whether you work with My Online Toolbox or Contractor Foreman. But for this example, it happens to be somebody who started with My Online Toolbox to generate quality leads to their own business and then grew to need to use Contractor Foreman also. So here, I'm just showing, without getting obsessed with this technology, I'm just showing you here that one of the things he's concerned about is being found as a bathroom remodeler in Arden, North Carolina. And I'm just looking right here. I happen to notice that he, coincidentally, it just makes me look good for this presentation, but he's now ranking in position 1. The last time I looked, he was ranking in position 4. So he's moved up a little bit. But then the next thing someone's going to say as a contractor is, hey, how do I get to do that? What do I need to do? So here, if you are
explain that page just a little bit. I mean,
right here.
Yeah, most people aren't going to get in here to Google Analytics so much, and this is something you might be looking at and monitoring from your side when they're working with you. But just go over a couple of highlights on the page. What's a graph showing?
Okay. Well,
kind of what are the numbers,
okay.
etc.
Yep, I'll go quick without getting technical. This is what's called a keyword ranking report. So in this particular case, for this client, massbuilders.com, he at the moment, he has 9 particular topics that we're focusing in on. That he's a bathroom remodeler in Arden, kitchen remodeling in Arden, permutations intentional. And then here are the different locations that he's working on. And if you look right here for this bathroom remodeler Arden, as of today, he's ranking in position 1 if somebody searches for that. If they search for kitchen remodeling Arden, he's ranking in position 2. And more important is not really where he is exactly today, because that could go up and down at any given moment. What really matters is the long-term averages, because it's better to measure stuff over an extended period of time as opposed to, hey, I'm in position 1 today and position 2 tomorrow. There's no reason to lose sleep that you're in position 2, because you can go right back up to position 1 for many reasons, but I don't want to take up a half hour in explaining what those many reasons are. But here, the average is showing that when we're a bathroom remodeler, he's averaging position 1.9 between position 1 and position 2. Then looking at the next top topic for him, kitchen remodeling in Arden, he's ranking today as position 2, and he's been averaging position 7.9. And when we got started, he was probably around position 10, and he's now moved up a total of 8 spots over a period of time.
I want to throw something out there, Brian, just to make the difference here, because a lead generation source that you might sign up with cannot do any of this for you. That you're never going to move up in a ranking because you have a lead generation service. And when somebody types in something along the lines of bathroom remodeler in Arden, he's coming up first, but even if he comes up in the top 3 or something there, when they click and go to his website, that's a solid lead. That's not one of those junk 40 leads. That's a solid lead worth pursuing.
That is correct. And there's something else here that, now that you're with, again, I don't want to get drained in too much technology, but it does make a relevant point the way you said that, is that when people start their own marketing, and it's the equivalent of a credit card FICO score, where we all have a number. I'm 820 about that. But regardless of what my number is, it's irrelevant to you, because we're not competing for the same opportunity. In your case, it's a lead. Using this particular client, Mass Builders, when we began, which was almost 2 years ago, this was his ranking when he got started. He was basically, it even says visibility 0. He was basically non-existent. So he built his website, his Facebook page, and all of the superficial supporting topics, but he just got started and nothing was happening. But now, if you see right about here, there's this big jump at the end. His credibility has been growing as time has been accumulating. And at the same time, his visibility on the web has been growing exponentially. It just happened to start somewhere around here last summer, give or take. But all of a sudden, he's just coasting along for like 6 to 9 months, not much happening. And then all of a sudden, the search engine said, today, we're rewarding you for your ongoing marketing efforts. And then the leads start coming in, and not just regular leads, but quality leads. And what I mean by that, going back to bathroom remodeler in Arden, if you go to Google, don't do it this now, but you could just write this down. You'll see that this is live. If you type in bathroom remodeler Arden, I happen to put NC for North Carolina only because I'm far away from there. Immediately, you will see the reference to Mass Builders being one of the top options. For you, it might be 1, 2, or 3, but either way, it's going to be on page 1. Last summer, it was page 0. He did not exist. He did not have an option to be found. And that is where we start to move into, if somebody is looking for a bathroom remodeler in Arden, North Carolina, yes, I'm sure if I scroll down, I'm going to find lead generation opportunities to be introduced to other remodelers. But in this case, they're finding Mass Builders directly. And so the way it's happened over time.
And with a great picture right there next to it too, to catch the attention, not just the link. Those
Yeah,
pictures are critical as well.
yeah, you're doing very good, by the way. You've learned a lot, Rob. I got to give you credit
Yeah.
because
I,
I was going to
hey,
come back to that, but you stole my thunder. That's okay. This
no,
is
you can
live.
get in, you get the details later. I don't know anything about the details. I just like pretty pictures, that's all.
Well, yeah, but here's the good part that you said, and you're just using a consumer opinion, but I want people to see how are those pictures showing up. So you see, actually, I just noticed something. I have to. I made a mistake. It's actually a positive mistake. I didn't realize that the client was being listed twice. So they're giving him two different ways to express his business with those different images. And the way that's happening, just to kind of add fuel to the fire, is when we go to his bathroom remodeling page, the biggest thing that has helped him be indexed for these search results over time is when I scroll down and just read the page and don't get too detailed at the moment, you'll see that he has a couple of featured projects. And one is from Arden Bathroom Remodeling. Going back to the topic that I said just a little bit earlier, where the value of your content is ridiculous. You people, everyone here is so valuable with their content. The question is, are you using it for yourself or are you giving it away to other people? And one of the things they're doing behind the scenes, using this guy's website, this is live again, is when I'm sitting on this picture, I am right now I'm looking behind the scenes to see what does the search engine think about this picture. And here, the search engine believes that this particular image is associated to a combination of where the person works, Arden, and what does he do, bathroom remodeling. Right there, when you think about all of the words that you use in your day, all of the images that you use in your day, all of the videos you use in your day, while the stories are visually appealing, kind of like what Rob just said, that he likes looking at pictures, or you might be into listening to videos, or you might be into reading. It really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that you use the content correctly. The key thing is when you don't know it, you need to remember that a little company, like in this case, Angie's, they clearly know what to do with it. So the question is, do you take your content and give it away and let someone use it properly? Or do you keep it for yourself and learn to use it properly? That is the big difference of where you're either paying for leads or you're building marketing opportunities where over time you'll get to brag about knowing where the positions are on search engines for bringing what I call quality activity for you. Somebody needs to mute whoever
Yeah,
is
I'm trying to figure out. There we go.
who that is.
Yeah, I think we got it.
Okay. So that right there is a really good understanding of when you're looking at websites, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. First, you want to make sure that you own the asset, that it's yours. Number two, value the work you do. And before you give it away, knowing that they see how valuable your content is, one, keep it for yourself. And two, make sure that it's used correctly to drive the right traffic. So when somebody is thinking about being, looking for a bathroom remodeler in Arden, why does this gentleman deserve to be found over a competitor? It's not magic. It's a concerted effort to make that happen. Also, another thing before I pivot a little bit, another cool thing is when you get kind of like in the beginning when I was mentioning about Contractor Foreman, that one of their features begins with capturing the lead and then making sure that you use the lead appropriately. In this particular case, with the mass builders, when they get a lead that's a qualified lead, it's automatically, and this is I guess the right phrase is a plugin. I don't know, Rob, if you use a different technical word, but this
Plugin pretty well covers it. What it is, I can show it to y'all in a few minutes. We're going to switch up here in a bit, but we just less work for you. We just give you the code to put on your website. So you don't need to have any skill or anything. You could have a web guy do it if you got a web person, but yeah, so you're going to put this form, build it the way you kind of want, and then put the form on your website, and then these leads come directly back into Contractor Foreman. And you're notified, of course.
Correct. And a lot of times when you look at this stuff right here, remember when you're getting a lead, a lot of times contractors inadvertently set themselves up to getting crappy leads. And what I mean by that is sometimes I've seen things where someone will say, hey, what's your name and phone number? I'll get right back to you. I treat that as a crappy lead because you have no knowledge about why you calling somebody back. They might be asking you to fix a squeaky closet, but you're a remodeler and you don't care about helping them with a squeaky closet. When you look here, you could see that before they call them back, they're able to ask them everything. What's your address? What's your email? What is the project details? When are you looking to start? What's your budget? How did you hear of us? Preferred contact method, adding files, meaning show me some pictures. And while some may say, wow, you're putting up a lot of barriers to, reaching out to somebody. No, it's just the opposite. If somebody's willing to take an extra minute or two to give you the details of where I am, what I want, what I think I want to spend, that's subjective, and also any type of images, the intake form is helping qualify the client because this guy wants to spend more time on what's real and not endless time on every possible opportunity where the majority would probably not be a fit for him. But the cool thing is, all of this is subjective as far as what data would be captured. But as soon as it's captured and they hit the submit button, in addition to an automatic reply going to the consumer saying, thank you for reaching out to us, we'll get back to you in 24, 48 hours, whatever is their standard protocol, the information has already now gone into Contractor Foreman. And as the first phone call is made, whatever that call is, they're now able to start managing the lead more efficiently and not like on a napkin that might get lost and the information could go into Never Never Land. I'll let Rob do a little bit more of an introduction of how to work with managing a lead on the inbound, and then we can go back to any of the marketing questions after Contractor Foreman is able to do an introduction of how to take a lead and bring it through a business solution.
Yeah, and I'm just replying to a chat message here from Noah. So give me 2 seconds, and I'll get that switched. So,
should I do stop share or?
Yeah, either or, it doesn't matter. And then I'm just gonna move some stuff around on my screen. You guys can actually see something. Because when you get those leads in, you're going to want to treat them like gold. I mean, because they are gold. And if you're getting them in an email only, well, they're going to get lost. It happens to come in on Sunday night. You're not going to maybe pick up on that for a while. No real notifications if you do get a lead in. And so using something like Contractor Foreman, I don't know how familiar everybody is with Contractor Foreman's on the call. I'm going to spend literally probably a minute max on just overall what Contractor Foreman is. So I can easily do that just by dropping down the main menu here. Contractor Foreman takes a potential job, takes a lead all the way through from a lead over to an estimate. Then it turns it into a project. Then you're going to manage the project, however that type of project needs to be managed. It's a full-on job costing system, project management system, CPM, Gantt chart, schedule, inspections, punch list, permits, all that on the project management side, all your full invoicing, if you need it, AIA billing, invoicing, things like that. So you can just see all the different modules that we have here. But we're really specifically talking about leads. I just didn't know what everybody's familiarity was with Contractor Foreman. So in the lead module, which I already have pulled up here, as a lead comes in from that lead form that's going to be on your website where we give you the code. And to get that code, I won't bother pulling it up, but you just hit your little gear button right there. And it's a cut and paste. You just copy and paste the code, slap it on your website, and that's all set up and good to go. So the other thing, when a lead comes in, so when a lead comes in, you're going to get notified. You're going to set up who's going to be notified. So you can set it up. You're going to get an email, a text, message when a new lead comes in. And then you've got a dashboard here. So leads by source by month, who you haven't contacted. So there's 2 leads I have not contacted. You got a lead by stage, upcoming lead tasks. I'm going to jump into that in a second here because it's kind of important. So here's my 3 little leads that I have down here. I'm just going to jump into one, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the edit button to open it up. Not even going to cover all the fields here. They're pretty self-explanatory, as you can see, and this is just the contact, just that, right? But contact information, email, their website, etc. What I want to focus on mainly is over here in the sales, because here you can do your different stages. Track by project type. Remember, all this is reportable on, so I can go in and run reports. What's paying off? What jobs are closing? What types of jobs? What size of jobs? All that from your leads. So got estimate sales date, the value, quality of the lead, referral source. Hope nobody has Angie in there. I'm just joking, had to say that. Last contacted. It was going to automatically track when they were last contacted. Here's when the lead came in. We automatically assigned it to me. So I got those notifications that a new lead came in. But then I can turn around and I can create a new sales activity by hitting this button. Click that. And now what is it? What do we got to do? Is it a callback, initial callback? Is it a job site visit? It's whatever it might be. So what's the subject of this? Who am I going to assign it to? So I assign it to somebody else here. When I assign that here to Fred and I hit save, Fred is going to get an email, a text. It's going to go on their dashboard, his dashboard, which I'll show you in a minute. And it's going to go on his calendar with built-in reminders. So you're not even thinking about these other tasks. So, okay, I've assigned this to Fred. Now I got to let Fred know. Now I got to set him up as a calendar. He has to go put it on his calendar. We just automated all of those steps. So call to set appointment for a visit to Fred, the day, time, what is it? Basic stuff there. But some notes so he knows what's going on. It's open status, show on calendar, boom, save. It's all set up. You roll that over into the next activity, next activity. You can also, when he's out doing the job walk, we have phone apps for iPhone and Android. So you can take pictures of the job walk, load up any files, any photos that need to go along with this lead. So when you're talking to that lead, whoever's talking to him, all that information is right there. Plus, we've got a little custom tab where you can build your own fields. Very easy to do. You don't, zero programming language, literally drag and drop type capability to build custom fields. Because depending on your company, depending on what you like to ask the prospect or just info that you want to track, I want to build some of your own. And these are not just static. They don't just sit here. They can go into custom reports. So when you're building reports, you can include the fields. They can go on PDFs, etc. So let's say we just took this lead and okay, now it was time. We went through a couple of sales activities and now it was time to give them an estimate. Again, none of us have time to do a bunch of redundant data entry, and we get rid of a lot of that for you in Contractor Foreman. So I got to give this person an estimate. I don't have to come up here, my main menu, and click on estimates and cut and paste or just start typing, etc. Simply go to the lead, read out menu item over there, and I'm going to go create estimate. And that'll just open up an estimate. Everything that I had typed into the lead, whatever information I did have, it carries that over, plugs it into the estimate, and then I can go ahead and the estimator in your company at that point maybe starts the estimate for that person. So lots of built-in automations, because people don't use systems like this if it keeps your head buried in a computer screen all day long. I call that getting trampled by the elephants while you're watching the ants go marching by. And so many systems that I've seen out there, you just type all day. It's like they're just not a connected system. And with Contractor Foreman, everything is connected. So even when I have my estimate, let's say I send the estimate out and I get it approved, to get a signature because we have electronic estimates, etc. But when I approve that estimate, it builds my project for me, because if you think about it, look at all that data that you put into an estimate. You've got your quantities, you've got markup, cost, budget numbers, all that, cost codes, all that stuff. So Contractor Foreman captures all that from the estimate, sets up the project, builds your job cost report, sets up your financials, builds your budget for your what we call MLESO, material, labor, equipment, sub, and other. So simply by marking an estimate approved, you got a project that's pretty, and it'll even write purchase. I'd have to show it to you, and if we get time, maybe I will, but that's not the intent of the meeting today. But the estimate will even write the purchase orders and subcontracts for you, believe it or not. So if you've got 6 or 7 subcontracts on a job, 3 or 4 purchase orders is all. Think about how many hours that saves you if those were to be written for you. Um, so that I'm just explaining it that way so you get an idea that how Contractor Foreman is built. It's built so you don't get trampled by the elephants while you're watching the ants go marching by. So your head is not buried in a computer screen all day long. So we got let's see, got about 20 till. Got a couple of questions came in. Let me check them out here. Brian had asked, should we put all leads there first, even if they're self-generated, or does it matter to start at the estimate model as long as we have all the data? Um, I don't know, when you say all leads, Brian, I I would maybe go back a little bit. It depends on how many leads you've got. You can import leads in through CSV, Excel type file, so it saves you a lot of typing. Um, but you really do want to build historical data. That's really the point of a system like Contractor Foreman, because if you bring those leads in, you're going to be able to find out what jobs are we getting, what jobs are we not getting. And yes, the estimate will tell you that as well, but the estimate isn't going to tell you where the lead came from. So if they're self-generated, yeah, absolutely, I would add those in there, because you might find that, hey, we close 85% of self-generated, but we only close 10% coming from this other lead source. And Chris asked, if you convert the lead to a customer, does all this info disappear? No, absolutely not. Great question, Chris. Thanks for asking that. I'll even show you what it does in a minute. Okay, excellent, Brian. Let me just switch something here. I was going to show you the screen, but I'll kind of bypass it real quick. This is a dashboard. So when somebody logs into Contractor Foreman, takes them to their dashboard, all fully customizable. But then down here, we've got a number of different ones of these, but here's a lead widget. And so leads by month, and that's just from signing in. I can just come in and just see all that. And then, hey, lead task, I got to take care of that. Boom, click there, takes me right over to that lead task. I want to show you what it does though, because it's a great question about going from a lead to a customer and maintaining all of that information. I'm gonna come over, I'm in my directory, I'm going fast. Like I say, I want to have plenty of time for Q&A today. So let's just grab a basic customer here. And in the customer record, so when it converts it from a lead over to a customer, no, it captures tons of information and keeps it with the customer. So I've got my sales tab there, so I can see everything that happened during the sales process. I've got a history tab. So any documents from the system are there. There's emails, estimates, forms, checklists, all kinds of different stuff. There's files and photos, anything to do with that customer. And then again, you've got the custom tab. So lots of information that you can set up and save within that customer record. You can even set up invoice terms and things like that. So for that customer, I could set up terms that, okay, they're on great customer, they pay right away or whatever. I gave them a discount if they pay right away. So I'm going to set them up on a due on receipt or net 5 or something like that. And then specific terms on their invoice just for that customer. See, I don't want to go down too much of a rabbit hole away from leads, but this really did have to do with the carrying over from a lead to a customer. See, a number of other questions came in here. Okay, yeah, no, oh, no, it jumped off, but yeah, I got that. No, if you are still on. Sound, oops, Safet, I want to get back to your question about email integrations. I hope I have time here, but my email is at the top of the chat box. We can go over that because we do have, I think, what you're looking for. And then Tony asked, what if it's a repeat customer that already has a contact profile? Kind of got you covered there because what you use in that case is the opportunities. Let me move some things out of the way, kind of on my side. So here we have leads and there we have opportunities. So a lead, somebody who's new, you haven't done business with before, and an opportunity is an existing customer. So it really operates the same way. It just works a lot smoother because you've already gathered all this information. So again, even less typing. So opportunities are for repeat customers. And that's residential, commercial, public works, anything, doesn't matter. And then leads are the new people. So, all right, I'm going to jump back to questions. See here. Oh, got another one coming in Q&A. All right. You guys can take yourself off mute if you just want to holler something. Got any questions or something else you want to cover there, Brian?
Yes.
A little
One
bit
thing I
of
wanted
a little
to,
bit of time left.
yes, can you hear me, Rob?
Yep. Yep.
The biggest topic that always comes into play is when somebody does get a good lead, are you treating it professional or are you just assuming because it's a good lead that automatically it's going to become your customer? And what I always tell people is, and I do get certain leads that it is pretty much a done deal before the phone call was made. They've already made a determination that they're going with us for one reason or another. But even so, when I get that call or the email inquiry comes in, we still reply in a very professional way as if it's an open opportunity. There's an assumption that there is somebody else out there who would like the business. So we like to make sure that we follow up. And what my point is that don't treat lead generation, or what I like to say, quality marketing, as meaning that someone calls, you answer the phone, and you just dictate that, yes, here's when I could fit you in, here's the price, here's the delivery date, and sign right on the dotted line. Everything from responding to voicemail messages, leaving good voicemail messages back. If I miss somebody, I do say, hello, this is Brian of MyOnlineToolbox. I tried to whatever. Here's how you reach me back. And the same thing in email, that it doesn't just say got your message. I would say got your message about the marketing. And then inside the details will be something that just shows that I'm making a professional communication. So all I ask of you is when you do get good leads, even when you think it's a slam dunk, still treat it with the proper professionalism that until it's a sealed deal, go under the assumption that one of your best competitors is getting the same opportunity? And are they going to pick up the phone and return the call? Are they going to respond to the email and at least look like they know how to write a full sentence that went through a spell checker? Just take a few moments to set yourself apart, because unfortunately, this industry has a negative stigma of, how we're dealing from like the white collar crowd to the blue collar crowd. But use that to your advantage, that if somebody already has an attitude that they don't know if you're going to get back to them because they assume most contractors are busy and may or may not, turn it up a notch and with your professionalism, and stand out and use the lead generation process as an opportunity to stand out differently than your competitors, to make it be as professional as humanly possible.
I want to expound on that just a little bit, but first, Brian, we got a question in from Chelsea, and she had said you had shown how the remodeler had gone from not even showing up at all in the online search to being the first one that comes up. Remind me again, what was it that made the biggest difference to making that change? You want to cover that again? I can turn my screen on or swap screens with you if you want.
Oh, okay. Here, you want me to? Let me come
Yeah, I
here.
turned mine off, so.
Share screen. Tell me when it pops up.
Your screen's up.
Okay. Well, keep in mind what you're looking at here 2 years ago did not exist. He moved to a new town and he didn't have a website, number one. So what we had to do was, before any website programmer was contacted, he had to accumulate all of his content. This particular picture was not his remodeling job. This was a job that he was a subcontractor on and got a permission to be able to use. We had to go through and first accumulate of jobs that he either did recently or in his previous state that he was in before he moved to North Carolina. We then had to organize a little bit about who he is and put it together, where before we call a programmer up, was there a little bit of a story, who they are, show a picture of him and his family. And in this case, he uses his father as an advisor, but it's basically him by himself getting the company started. Now it's grown. Actually, there's a few people that are missing here, but he had to be very specific into coordinating the content of, when we say remodeler, what does that mean? And in his mind, for now, it means bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor living, like decks and porches, but it does not mean basements. At the time, it did not mean whole home remodeling, meaning gutting an entire home. He was looking for very specific types of remodeling projects. And the same goes for locations. The biggest weakness that the lead gen companies expose is, where do you, as a remodeler or a contractor, should I say, where is your ideal territory? Not everywhere you're willing to drive, everywhere you ideally want to drive. And so one town north, 5 miles away, might be as equally as financially advantageous of a town south that's 10 miles away, just based on the community and how much the average income of the people who live there. But maybe your office is in a warehouse district, and the surrounding homes are just not economically viable for you, even though you have your shop there. So what you need to do is set up the service areas or locations that you're ideally targeting. So over time, the search engines are able to understand, where do you like to be found? I'm in South Florida, so typing in whatever service that you provide, you don't care, because you would never be able to help me. The search engines need to be taught where you prefer to go. If you don't have on your site, as well as on your Google profile, explicitly, where do you like to go, that means it's an assumption. And when it comes to search engines, those assumptions are usually going to backfire against your opportunities. Another thing is, we needed to get some reviews to be able to validate what it is you say you do. In this case, it took him some time to get his first 2 videos of other people expressing through their emotion and passion, why should you choose this guy? So it did take him, when I went here, and you see here on this particular chart, all of this flatness, and you go, oh my God, look at this. He started in July, and it took almost 9 months for his business to start to grow. Well, to be fair, it was growing, but it definitely wasn't getting any real activity from at least the search engines, because it was just yet another contractor putting yet another website together with yet another Google profile, yet another Facebook post, that type of thing. But he maintained his consistency, and he kept the quality of what he did repetitively over and over again. And in this particular case, it took about 8 to 9 months to make an impact. Sometimes it happens in 1 to 2 to 3 months, which is obviously great for me. And sometimes it takes longer, unfortunately, depending on the existing competition that's already doing things correctly. So a lot of times it's a combination of the continuous effort of you putting your marketing plan together correctly, as well as how strong or how weak your competitors are in the area. So in this case, 9 months, I like to always say 6 to 9 months is on the further extreme of when activity starts to happen. I do have people that have their lives change in a few months to less than a half a year, which usually means they did a good job and their competitors are doing a weak job. But it's a little bit of a coin toss of an answer without knowing specifically what you do, how strong or weak you are at your existing marketing, and who are your competitors that you're up against too. But he did, going back to answer your question directly, he had to get some videos to have a voice behind his business besides himself. Remember, when other people are talking about you, it's validating. When you're talking about yourself, whether you like it or not, you are selling. And that's the way a consumer perceives you. And there's no way around it until somebody else talks about you. Here, it took him
And
some time.
something else on the videos, Brian, just real quick, isn't it true? And you know more about the technical details on this, but the search engine is going to give it a lot more weight if you've got the videos on your website, and
That is
especially if you're rotating content. So if you just try to do a very bland GoDaddy website, and the point I'm really trying to get at, I guess I'll just, because we're running out of time here, but and we can go a little bit longer if you guys want to stay. Once you list, what do you say are the top three things that you could do to help everybody get better leads? If they all called you this afternoon and said, Brian, okay, let's get cracking. What's the top three things you can do to help them get better leads?
well, the biggest is going to make sure that they understand the power of their website when designed correctly. So most people will put a website together to have it be cosmetically appealing, but if they have not organized it properly and are attracting the search engines, it's just there, kind of like a postcard sitting at some local supermarket, hope, or your business card sitting there hoping that somebody will just pick it off the board. You want to be able to have the structure of your site perfectly indexed, or really good indexed to what exactly you do and where you do it. So when people are in those areas searching for your type of service, why do you deserve to be on page 1, 2, and 3 in search results and not your competition, and as well as not the lead generation companies too? It's easy to push the lead generation company down if you're doing your job correctly. So number one is search engines. Number two, ensuring that people understand the importance of how they set up and use their Google profiles. Google is, it's not the only answer, but because Google occupies between 85 and 90% of search results, and yes, there are other people like Bing and Yahoo, but you want to go for the volume first, and then, of course, be applicable to other search engines. But you want to be able to make sure that your Google profile is as strong as humanly possible. Matter of fact, some gentleman I mentioned literally before we started this presentation, he was on early, that he was wondering about his company, and I let him know that he had 3 independent Google profiles floating. You don't want to confuse Google. You want to make sure that your company is so precise that when Google is trying to figure out what you do and where you do it, that there's no ambiguity. And number 3, is helping you out on how to use social media correctly. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, yes, they all have their technical abilities, but if you use them correctly for this industry and appreciate how many people are going to go there, whether you like it or not, you could bring in so much repeat business as well as referral business when you use social media correctly. I talk about this forever because I'm a brand marketer. I don't like to post just to post. I like to post when there's something to say. And if you have nothing to say, I tell people then shut up. The reason is there's so much noise out there that you don't want other people thinking that you're part of the noise because you're just posting to post. And when you understand how to leverage consumer behaviors as it relates to this industry, you're able to build a strong following of customers who are willing to share your name because they enjoyed working with you. So all three, between Google, websites, and social, using your social media proficiently, is what I do among many other things to help people out. Starting with, obviously, for people who don't know us, we have this educational series, and our basic class is one that every single client that we've worked with, either part-time or full-time, it's always begun at the basic class so they could understand, with about 8 to 9 hours of time, understand all of these topics much more intelligently and embrace them to be able to expand upon their quality opportunities.
And I just want to fall back a little bit because you you talked about when somebody's prospect is calling you or they're calling the prospect back. You know, we at Contractor Foreman, we talk to contractors all day. We call them all day. You know, we don't do cold calling in sales here. We don't believe in that. So we're not one of those nuisancey people, but you know, we're calling our customers constantly. You know, they got questions, they need tech support, they got pre-sale questions, etc. I can't tell you the number of contractors that we call and we get a message. We're sorry, this person has a mailbox that is not set up yet. Or the voicemail is, yes, Bob, leave me a message. It's like you're never going to get good leads if you've got that going on. So whether it's your salespeople or whoever your customers are calling, make sure that you've got that professional look from voicemail to email. Do an email signature that has full company information in it. Email signature with your website, with a cell phone number in there, with the your email in your email signature. So it's really important. It's got to be probably 25% of people, and that's a lot. That's a lot of people. There's a number of contractors that we contact. So 25% of people that we contact have very, very unprofessional faces out there in voicemail, email.
You know, Rob, everybody here just using that as a great, like a task, a takeaway. When we're done, just call your voicemail and listen to it and hear how you sound to the next prospect who has no emotional connecting to you. If they hear any of that garbage, like, oh, sorry, you can't leave a message, call back another time, why waste your time with someone like me? I wouldn't, because if you're going to build a company or build a store and you're never going to turn your open light on, why bother in the first place? So call your voicemail to hear what it says and be very objective to changing it to be, along the lines of, hello, this is Rob of ABC Remodeling. We're in the field right now servicing other clients. Please leave a detailed message how we could help you and where you're located, and we'll call you back at our earliest opportunity. Thank you for calling ABC Remodeling. Something along that line is going to be different than, yo, it's Rob, I'm not available right now, leave a message. And take that approach of the next call doesn't know you. How do you sound? And if you don't like the way you hear it, well, take the little button and re-record it until you do like it, and you're already in the right direction of building, again, opportunities to become quality leads and not just a random tire kicking where you
Well,
were not prepared for the right opportunity to come to your front door.
Brian, pull up your website. A couple of people are asking for your information.
What's that?
Pull up your website. A couple of
Oh,
people are asking for information, etc.
okay. It's my online toolbox, easy to remember. And there's three things that you would, well, two things. One is obviously eventually just guiding yourself to the basic class. And if you want to get a weekly quick tip for free, up to 360 weekly quick tips, give or take. Maybe I'm off by one or two, but our Facebook page is a weekly 5 to 7 minute quick tip of whatever's going on with all of our clients that we like to give. And if you followed us on Instagram, we do a weekly featured project, not just showing another cool construction project, but showing how contractors take their ongoing work and market it properly to be able to sustain the strength of their rankings that they have with Google and not just get there and let it surf and think that it's going to stay there forever. So Instagram for weekly featured projects, Facebook for the weekly quick tips, both of those for free. And then our basic class is something that we charge for, $379, for probably the most productive 8 to 10 hours that you're ever going to get of education, because every single topic is using a live example so you could relate to it, not just from the technical perspective, but as from the industry perspective too.
I can definitely say Brian's very hands-on. Um, so
Yeah, and if somebody wanted to then talk separately about, redoing everything, hello, where are we going in 2025? And, making believe a tsunami came and said, let's not keep dwelling on what's been here for the last few years that's not working. Let's decide where we're going to go for the next 1 to 5 years type of thing. And just go to the contact page and reach out to me, and I could talk to you separately about how people do they do the education, but then they build a marketing plan. They take the time to accumulate all their content. We don't work with any one particular website company, which is unique for us. We work with dozens, and we also work with a lot of independents, and we also work with a lot of owners who like to do the website programming on their own. All I care about is that it's done correctly. So if the right person knows how to organize their content correctly, we have examples of everything from do-it-yourselfers to independent programmers to people that are going with professional companies who are great at the technology. They're just weak at the understanding of the construction industry, and we help fill that void.
thing is, contractors are great at building stuff, but that doesn't mean they're great at building websites. So it definitely something you want to reach out and get some help with. So didn't know you had to become a website expert when you started your company, but suddenly you find yourself in that position. So all right, you guys. Checking here, no new questions have really come in. I think we've covered everything. If you want, you can got a question, you can take yourself off mute. Not a problem. So want to holler out a question or put it in the chat box or the Q&A box.
Hey, Rob, I could give everybody another freebie too. It seems that we had a nice group stick around just to have another, in addition to checking your voicemail, another thing that has been helpful for our industry when you're getting Google reviews, which is critical to helping you get validation through the search engines. Ask your clients to take a picture or two of the job site, wherever they're submitting a review from. And the reason is that everybody is using their phones and they have the location embedded into the image now. So when they load the image to support your review, Google is learning more about not just what the project is, but they're learning where. So unlike me, if you leave me a Google review and give me a picture, while I'll appreciate it, like a picture of your website, it does nothing for my marketing efforts. But on the contrary, for you, when people are leaving reviews and showing pictures of the jobs, Google is building a stronger perimeter of where these reviews are coming from, which helps you with your long-term objective of solidifying getting leads in a very specific territory. So that's a new thing for 2024, just to throw in there as a free tidbit for you sticking around for the whole hour.
There you go.
That was great, Brian. Awesome. Super, super. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. Thanks for being on. Hey, Brian, you want to just pop up our website real quick? You got the tab open already on your far left there.
What am I doing?
Just click on our tab there and then scroll down a little bit so they can just see pricing. Get rid of the features.
Right here?
Yeah. Oh, you're not on the pricing page there. I don't know where you ended up, but
Okay, let me go back to your homepage just for the second. You want me to go to somewhere specific?
I don't know how you got where you got.
Oh, I'm on your homepage right now.
Right. You know, I can pull it up real quick. So
Want me to stop-
red,
Would you like me to stop share?
yeah, or I can just take it back. Go ahead and stop sharing, then I'll take it back.
There you
If
go.
anybody had any questions, I think a lot of people, I think, are fairly aware of Contractor Foreman and everything, but that's who we are right there. I've just pulled up our pricing page. You do get it totally free for 30 days. You're a full-on customer, not a trial, anything really. You get the live one-on-one training, chat, tech support, the works. Give you a price lock guarantee. Your price will never go up as long as you stay on your current plan. And basically, there's our different plans down there. So holler at us, or you can just book a demo right from here if you're not on Contractor Foreman already. We don't have it on the pricing page. We can go back to any other page and just book a demo. Or give us a shout. There's our phone number up there. All right, everybody. Let me check one last time, but I think we covered the Q&A ones. Fantastic. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate everybody sticking around. Hope y'all got a lot out of that, and hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great summer.
Have a wonderful day, you guys.
Thanks,
Talk
guys.
soon. See ya.
Hello, Rob.
Yep.
Right now, when you're closing out this and everybody's, oh, I see what they're doing. They're one by one logging out.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be reaching out to Daniel Mass to tell him to sign up to you.
There we go. Cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I
Hey,
thought
Mike.
he was.
Hey.
I thought he was talking to you. That's what I was asking earlier
Oh,
during the presentation, because I just thought he would have been. Hey, you spoke to my son. I didn't. He spoke as if he was talking to you. I didn't realize he wasn't.
yeah, I don't think so, but no, he probably just generic talking to somebody meant, so he's using it that way.
Yeah.
And hey,
Well,
Michael, I see you're on. Shoot me an email. Let's catch up one of these days. See how you're doing, man. You're on mute, but maybe
There's
he
a-
left.
Okay.
Michael Cornell.
Yeah,
Done a
that
little work with him. Great,
Yeah,
Michael Cornell. Yeah,
I appreciate the earlier conversation because it allowed me to streamline this a little bit better today than in the past.
awesome.
Okay,
All
my
right, I'm gonna
friend.
shut her down.
Okay.
Okay, have a great
You
day.
stay good and we'll
We'll talk
talk
soon,
soon.
Brian. Absolutely. Take
Okay,
care.
take care.